8 hours a day of agriculture programming weekdays and 2 hours on Saturdays. WTIM, AM, FM, and online is your ag information station. Listen by tuning in on air or online and listen to WTIM Ag Podcasts anytime.
WTIM. You're listening to the WTIM Morning Show on your information station. The show is sponsored by People's Bank and Trust, where they put people first, and Landmark of Taylorville. I'm your host, Reed Kamai, and the first Monday of the month means it's, of course, time to welcome in Taylorville Mayor Bruce Berry for his monthly chat here on the morning show. Mr. Mayor, thanks for coming on in.
Glad to be here, Reed.
Yeah, no, it's good to have you in as always. And definitely plenty to talk about this morning. Of course, you've got your city council meeting tonight, and I always love to hear about kind of where we're at in terms of construction. I know that's a busy thing this year. Mr. Mayor, what updates do you have for us?
Well, the West Main project is up and going, as most people see that. We talked the other night at the committee meeting that the finished product was not going to be until about October. I was hoping it would be a lot earlier than that, but we're putting new sewer, new water lines, new curbs, new gutters, new sidewalks for most of the area, and then repaving the road from Webster Street to Houston Street. So it is a great big project. It's going to end up costing the city about $6 million. Thankfully, Rodney Davis was able to secure $2.5 million from the federal government, and we've applied for other grants through the federal government. So we're hoping that Mary Miller can come through with that.
It seems like a kind of a wide-ranging project in terms of in terms of the sidewalks, and I think you said like the sewer lines as well.
Right.
I mean, how frequent have projects to that extent?
Well, not really. We haven't done much with that, but like I said, it's all old infrastructure under the ground. So the council decided a few years ago, if we're going to fix it, let's fix it right and put new sewer, new water, everything, curbs, gutters, and I think it's going to be a great asset. That's one of the main streets in Taylorville, and it'll be the public will welcome it once it's done.
Once it's done, that's for sure.
Correct.
There, yeah. So so a lot going on over there in terms of construction. I'd love to talk a little bit about the airport. You discussed that a little bit the last time you were on, and it's come up on occasion at city council meetings.
Right.
I'm curious sort of where you folks are with that and kind of what's to come next.
Well, right now we're approving our portion of a big runway inclusion. They're going to redo the runway, and those usually grants are 90% FAA grants. So the city pays 5 and the state pays 5. So even though we're going to do a $2 million project out there, the city's payment's only going to be about $50,000. So we hope, get those things done. And so we're approving everything. We're approving our engineers to draw up the plans, and hopefully we'll go for that this year.
Yeah. And so how much of the airport, of like the runway space of that property really is kind of involved in this project?
Well, that'd be the complete runway, and then also the taxiway also. So we did the runway there, I think, that runs east and west, and now we're going to do on the north-south runway. So like I said, it's a very big project, and luckily for the city of Taylorville, we only have to pay 5% of it.
Nice. And then what's been kind of the history with work at the airport? When's the last time you did kind of a big project?
Well, we did the repaving like I said, the east-west runway just a year or two ago. And so this will do this and put new taxiways in there. And, a lot of people drive by the airport, don't ever use it or whatever. But it is a vital part to our economy, and any improvements we do out there, like I said, it's just 5% from the city's coffins.
Okay. So, it seems like, you folks have made the case for that being rather cost effective. Anything else you want to mention about the airport or construction before we look ahead to tonight's meeting?
Well, like I said, the project, the Safe Sidewalks to Schools project has started. We ran into a hiccup there on West Adams. We're still waiting to hear. We have a utility meeting Wednesday, and probably find an update on that when we're going to include that. I know most of the people there on South Main, which we put new water lines in from Adams Street to the park, and that's what was well needed. People there kept complaining about some of the quality of the water, so we've done that. Now the next project, we've done most of the sidewalk work, and next thing is repave the road, and we'll have to listen to the historical society on that one.
Okay, so you've got that coming up for that project. Looking at tonight, so let's see, you've got a couple business district development agreements to talk about, and then so you just talk about what that's about, what it might lead to.
Well, that's the BDD's fund that we started 9 years ago. That we give money back to business owners as they fix up their exterior work, and so we continue to do that. I'm not sure who's on the agenda for tonight to get some money, but usually that's a no-brainer. I know Dustin Clark, I think, is one of them, getting money there on fix up the old George's Candy Shop, which he's done a great job on it so far, and we give him a percentage of his money back.
Okay, so that's coming up tonight, and then let's see. I understand. Let's see, support of various community project funding programs. I'm curious what you have to say about that.
Well, it's like I said, we can use BDD money for just about anything. We've had different people, different organizations come and ask us for money, and we're going to decide what money we're going to use for different projects. I know later on in the agenda, it's to give $10,000 to the chamber for their annual Chili Fest, and so that will be good. I think that will get voted in tonight, and other things like that. We just see where we got the money and where we can give it to.
Yeah, $10,000 at face value might seem like a lot, but I mean, you and I both know how big Chili Fest is for the town. I mean, it seems like something that just pays for itself.
That's all right. Yeah, it should. Yeah, it should. And they've asked us to be like a major sponsor, which I think most of the aldermen are for that. I know it passed out of committee, I believe 4-0. So I look for it to get passed, but that is a vote. Do we give money, advertising money for Chili Fest? So that'll be decided tonight by the alderman.
Okay, so that's to come. I think it's a little bit later in the meeting, but still expected tonight. And then let's see, it says here the amended budget. Now, does that have to do with what got discussed at your last meeting with the project?
Discussed at the last meeting with the airport. We had to amend the budget because we'd not appropriated the correct amount of money. So that will be passed probably 8-0 tonight.
Okay, so that's to come tonight as well. The possible suggestion of a pay raise for certain city employees. Now, I know you folks voted last time out. You and I talked about this, about changing the way that is decided upon.
Right. Well, what that all entails too, we're not going to give anybody pay raises. We gave pay raises there at the first of the year to our superintendents, and next year by the ordinance we had the personnel committee and the HR, the mayor, and maybe one other person, decide what the pay raises are. Well, it's very difficult to give somebody, because I think all our superintendents are doing a great job. So I've usually, since I've been mayor, been giving them the same percentage rate as what the union has did. Some of them agree with that, some of them don't. Last time we didn't give them quite the higher wage earners. We didn't give them quite the percentage raise, but we did give them a $3,000 raise. So I thought was sufficient.
Okay, so then that suggestion of a pay raise for certain city employees is to come tonight. It sounds like, right, in the meeting.
Just to amend how we're going to give the pay raises, we're going to have to change the ordinance. There's a lot of times that the HR or maybe the personnel chairman does not know exactly how good a job the lake superintendent or the cemetery superintendent. Most of our aldermen, a lot of them got full-time jobs, so they're not active with it day to day. And so I think it'll just be more or less left up to the mayor and the HR person.
Okay, so you've got that coming up tonight, and then there's also going to be discussion on potentially allowing billboards in areas zoned for industrial use. You were clarifying things a little bit for me earlier, because there are of course some billboards out there already. So just talk a little more about what would change.
Has everyone seen the digital billboard out on 29 and the industrial park lot number 1? In the way the ordinance read now, we could only put digital billboards in the industrial park. Now, I think it should be in the industrial zoned areas, which E.L. Pruitt here on the east side of town has came to us and requested a digital billboard. Now, it has something to do with the size of it. I know the radio station has a little digital billboard, but that's not considered a billboard in our scheme of things. And so I think it'll be passed. We don't want billboards throughout the town every 20 feet or every 40 feet, but I think in the industrial areas it should be allowed.
Okay, so we'll see what happens then with that. I'm talking right now with Taylorville Mayor Bruce Berry. Let's take a break, and when we come back, we'll continue this conversation right here on the WTIM Morning Show on your information station.
Your information station, WTIM.
You enter the courtroom, you deserve a judge who listens and applies the law fairly. I'm Judge Wesley Gozia, Circuit Court Judge in the 4th Judicial Circuit. I've spent my legal career representing people from all walks of life and now serving our communities from the bench. I'm committed to fairness, integrity, and accountability. I respectfully ask for your vote.
Tornado baseball and softball, plus playoff games are on New Country 104.1 this spring. Tune in or listen to the live audio stream of select baseball and softball games, plus playoffs of both teams. Brought to you by
the Taylorville Community Credit Union, the Christian County YMCA, Rural Rentals, and Scooters Coffee.
The purple and gold are coming your way. The Taylorville Tornadoes are going to do it today.
When it comes to connecting with America's farmers and ranchers, nothing beats the authentic voice of Ag Radio. Farm broadcasters have been the voice of rural America since 1944, building trusted relationships with agricultural producers across generations. Today, the network of over 140 ag radio stations reaches farmers and ranchers during their most productive hours when they're actively working their operations and making business decisions. What makes Ag Radio uniquely effective? Farmers listen to farm broadcasters for information that directly impacts their livelihood. When your message is delivered alongside crucial weather updates, market reports, and agricultural news, it receives the same attention and credibility. Farm Radio Connects offers agricultural advertisers targeted access to this engaged audience through professionals who understand both broadcasting and agriculture. According to the National Association of Farm Broadcasting, 78% of farmers consider information from farm broadcasters highly trustworthy. When you need to reach rural America effectively, choose the voices they already trust. Visit IllinoisFarmRadio.com and discover how Ag Radio can elevate your agricultural marketing strategy.
It's time to renew or purchase your new 2-year golf membership at one of the area's most popular courses, Lakeshore Golf Course, just south of Taylorville. Manager Jason Boldig here, reminding you of these benefits our members receive, including unlimited greens fees at all 4 of our area courses. The best part's the price, just $318 for a 2-year membership. Get to Lakeshore Golf Course, just south of Taylorville now to renew or purchase your new 2-year golf membership and get in the swing.
Hi, I'm Mark Sanders, and I'm your longtime host, interviewing Shelbyville and Shelby County community and business leaders every week. For some 10 years, WTIM, your information station, has originated its Friday morning show live from our downtown Shelbyville studios. Tune in on AM or FM or online every Friday from 8:40 to 10, brought to you by these great sponsors.
The Sarah Bush Lincoln Shelbyville Clinic and its network of specialists throughout Central Illinois is proud to be the title sponsor of the WTIM Shelbyville Morning Show each week.
WTIM.
Welcome back to the WTIM Morning Show on your information station. The show is sponsored by People's Bank and Trust, where they put people first, and Landmark of Taylorville. I'm your host, Reed Kamai, and I continue my monthly conversation with Taylorville Mayor Bruce Berry, and we talked plenty about construction, the airport, and what's to come at tonight's City Council meeting. Now, one area that we talked about, I think, last month and had not gotten to in this interview yet has to do with the lake. I understand there's still the work going on over there. Talk about that and kind of where we're at with that.
Right. We received the OSLAD grant a couple of years ago, and so we're doing some work. We're going to put a retaining wall around our beach out there and also do some work to the beach house. So that's up and going now and should be done by April 1st. And I know everybody's looking forward to the lake opening, and April 1st it'll be open. So we're looking forward to that.
Well, we've had a couple days so far where it looked like it should be open, only for it to then get all cold the following day.
Exactly. And like I said, later on in the week, we should get some lake-like weather. So that'll be good for our workers out there.
Yeah. So yeah, probably like, and imagine we're kind of at the inflection point of the year where, you really start to ask the question about like, right, when's the weather going to be good? When's that one day, right? When it's going to be good? When is it, when are things going to open up? And then, when people get out there and enjoy the lake.
We got the time change coming next weekend, so that will be good for everyone. And like I said, can't wait for the lake season and let the lake people see our improvements.
Yeah. So, people will have that to look forward to, and so we've got that coming up with the lake. I'd love to look back a little bit, because for those of you who maybe had not listened, who didn't hear me catch it, I think I mentioned it on the broadcast when it was happening, but I had the pleasure of seeing Taylorville Mayor Bruce Berry at the high school girls basketball game between Taylorville and MacArthur. Man, it feels like ages ago. In the stands, right? In the stands. Maybe you could have heard me, or maybe not.
I could hear you. There was seating was very close that night. I got the pleasure of sitting about a row behind the coaching staff. So, but I didn't help him coach any. That was a game where we got beat by a better team. But I just was amazed at the effort that our girls put forth, and wanted to congratulate them on a good season. I know their record wasn't what they thought it would be, but better. I hope better record next year.
Yeah. So no, that was good to just see the great support out there. See you there. And yeah, I'm sure you had a couple coaching points you wanted to make, but no, it went the way it did. So were you able to hear the coaches?
I could hear the coaches there at timeouts and things. There wasn't. I mean, I didn't try to sit there; just about the only seat that was left. And so no, I really enjoyed listening to the coaches coach. And even though we were down 15, 16 points there in the third quarter, they kept trying, and I was really impressed with the effort, and a great coaching job, I thought.
Yeah, no, really, really well done there. And I'm impressed you could hear them because Coach Eldred isn't the loudest person there. And I have sensitive hearing, and I can't hear him.
Right.
So
I can hear you and the coaches read, and so I think maybe you should try to coach some next year too.
I should not. So I'll leave that to the coaches. But no, it was great to just great to be part of the action. And I will say, Mr. Mayor, I was glad to see you there, not just because you're the mayor, not just because we've spoken on plenty of occasions before, but I moved here. I didn't really know anyone when I moved here, and even now I still don't. And sometimes just seeing someone it makes it just feel a little more like home.
Well,
so,
Reed, you might see me at a lot of sporting events. I've grown up there. I played basketball for Taylorville 50 years ago and things. And so it was, I just love Taylorville High School sports. And like I said, if you need any help or anything, you just let me know if I'm there, and I'll try to help you.
Well, Mr. Mayor, I appreciate that. I really do. And again, just seeing the familiar face out there just helps out a lot. So we've got the baseball and softball seasons coming up. Will I be seeing you at maybe some of those?
I usually try to make a couple of those games, and look forward to our softball season. Should be a really good one this year. And our baseball team's got a lot of guys back. Be interesting to see how we fare in the very tough Apollo Conference in baseball. Probably that conference is best statewide as far as for baseball, because we have really good teams. Muhammad is good. Mount Zion's good.
That's right.
Mattoon and Charleston are very good. And
Yeah.
us and Effingham are, rivals also.
Well, yeah, that's right. Well, Mayor Bruce Berry, we're out of time. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Reed.
With SRN News, I'm Rich Thomason in Washington. A fourth American service member has died as a result of attacks by Iran. That's according to the Pentagon. The casualties come as the U.S. and